And we are live. Hello, everyone. Let's just check that we're actually on LinkedIn. I can do that. How do I do that? LinkedIn doesn't make this easy either. There's my notification, live event. If I just switch that on for a minute, yay, I can see us all.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, that's right.
There you go, great. So let me just get rid of that, otherwise I'll be talking to myself. Hello again, everyone. Thank you. I'll edit that bit out, James. Don't worry about that. Thank you for joining us for our HubSpot updates section. We're going to go through the last 7 days of updates for you. Just talk you through them, not an awful lot of detail unless anybody listening in has got any questions. But obviously, once you've watched this or either watched it live on LinkedIn or watched it back in the HubSpot updates that we publish through Superd, then please feel free to get in touch and ask for a bit more of an explanation. Let's just do some introductions first. You can see we are Real Inbound and HubStart. We work very closely together as two completely independent HubSpot partners because we have very complementary skills. You'll know me if you've listened to my live LinkedIn lives before. I'm very much into sales, CRM, and strategy. I didn't realize there was going to be alliteration there, but there was. And James and Scott are the partners and founders of HubStart, and we tend to work together on the technical side of things with them. So we'll do the strategy bit, the planning bit, and they do the hard part. They do the bit that actually makes it all work for our clients. So if you're a client of Real Inbound, you're likely to know James. You may not have met Scott. We're very lucky. Scott's in yet another time zone and has decided to join us today. So it's his first, hopefully his first taste of fame, and he'll get used to it. When you say hello, gentlemen, James.
Hello. Hey,
I
everyone.
can hear you. That's a good sign. Afternoon,
Hello.
morning. Where are you, Scott? What time is it where you are?
I'm in Ankara.
Oh, wow.
So in Turkey. Yep.
Very nice.
So I don't even know what time it is. So, yeah. I've heard too many time zones. So.
Excellent. Right. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do, guys, thanks, Scott. What we're going to do is we're going to share the HubSpot screen with you. I'll show you how we get there. And then we're going to talk through the updates of the last 7 days, pretty much. So here we go. Here's the screen. In theory. And there's us. You can see us. I'm now the lovely sandwich between HubStart's bread. I'm in the middle. The boys can't see this themselves. They're looking at their own screens. But let's kick us off, James. Actually, before I do that, as I mentioned, where do you get to this screen? So if you go to the top corner of your account and you click on your account and then you follow down to product updates, you'll get through to this screen. And what we've done, we've also selected all product updates, which you can see over here, and we've selected the date range to be the last 7 days, so that we're minimizing what we talk about. Otherwise, we'll be here all day because HubSpot is world famous for its updates. So let's kick off without much further ado. This one looks like a U update, James and Scott, the limits tracking tab. So I've brought it up on the screen for everybody to see. It's a single tab for admins to track all of the data configuration and usage limits. What does it mean to you guys? Has this got any value?
I mean, it's quite a simple one, but it is something that would be useful for admins because it's actually quite useful for us as partners as well because everybody's got different limits for different things. Number of contacts you're allowed, number of associations you're allowed, number of different types of records, etc. And those limits, you need to keep track of those so that you make sure that everything that you're building and your scale within HubSpot stays within your limits. And if you're getting close to a limit, you can increase that. So it just means that when you're trying to think of a new initiative for a new way that you're going to use HubSpot, or a new project you're going to do that's going to involve further development of your HubSpot portal for your business, you can you can think about how much that's going to affect your limits, whether it's within the limits you have, whether you need to increase something, and so on and so forth. So important for that pre-planning stage.
Yeah, Excellent. And it's actually a beta at the minute, guys. So if you pull this one up, you'll need to click on Join Beta in order to take part in it. But it is a beta. It's not one that you have to apply for. So once you've clicked Join Beta and you've selected your account, you'll be straight in and you'll have that functionality. Thanks, James. Okay, CRM data backup. This is a new one again. This introduces an important mechanism, it says, to protect your data. You now have manual exports of all contacts, companies, deals, tickets, custom objects, products, calls, and tasks in a CSV zip that you can obviously protect separately. Scott, have you got any thoughts on this one?
I mean, this one is super important, even though it's not a high priority one. A lot of clients have been having to back up manually. It's very kind of time consuming process to go there and bulk export over and over again. But, you know, if you're talking about certain compliance, ISO standards and things like that, where you're required to have offsite backups in conditions with your standard operations, then you know, this is going to be a big deal for you, because it just means it just takes out that headache of that manual laborious process of doing your backup. So if you are in that kind of environment, that compliance environment, then yeah, this is just this is going to be super helpful, super helpful for those people.
So our data protection friends are going to enjoy it. Our GDPR people, our cybersecurity experts, this is going to be something that's going to be highly valuable. As you said, it's actually got a low release impact. But yeah, I can see the value of this. And this one, guys, is a request. It's a private beta. So again, you can see if you are to click on the tab, you'll actually request to take part in the beta. And it usually takes about a week or so for that request to go through. I've never been refused to join a beta. I guess it's always a first time, but it sometimes just takes a while for those to work through. So let's jump over to the next one. This one's a live update, so this is actually already there and in the portal. You don't have to opt in for it. You don't have to select or apply. James, do you want to take this one? Association configurations. I don't even know what those words mean.
This is an interesting one. I've been struggling. I've been thinking about this since last night, trying to think of a use case for where we'd use this. I mean, there must be one because they've obviously gone to do this. But they're basically saying that through the API, you'll be able to change the limits on the number of associated records between one object and another. So, and that's also based on the. Is that based on the association labels? Yes, it is as well.
Yeah, it is.
So association labels, as we know, that has been a very useful feature in the fact that you can categorize the associations between different objects. Like, for example, when you have 100 contacts associated to a company, if there's a large account, for instance, some of those will be decision makers, some of those might be billing, and the kind of correspondence you want to have in your automations workflows will vary depending on that person's association to a business. But the idea of this is that you have the ability to control through the API how many people or how many associations you're allowed to have per object. So, for example, you could say that you only want one person with the decision maker label, one person with the billing label associated to any company. So this is a setting that you've been able to just change through the UI up to this point. Like, we've done it before to make sure that when accounting and billing workflows run, that there's always only one billing contact associated to a client's company record, so that bills get sent to QuickBooks and they don't freak out about, okay, which customer is this invoice meant to be going out from. But in terms of controlling that limit through API, I'm sure there are use cases for it. It may be that
it's an enterprise and a custom platform, so it's a whole solution sort of thing. The use case I would guess would be controlling and controlling, as it says, the lower limits. So in terms of keeping your data nice and clean, keeping your hygiene up to date, if you want certain sales association labels to be limited to just 5, for instance, to stop there being clutter, that kind of thing, I would think, and that can be pushed then obviously via the API. That can be pushed right through the whole organization rather than having to go individually into UIs to select it.
Change these poor
But
settings. Yeah.
a real edge case for most of our customers. Scott, were you going to add something then?
Yeah, I was saying from when we talk about integration and making HubSpot really work, where HubSpot is the data owner or another system is the data owner, and HubSpot's reflecting that. Then for us as integrating people, then that's really important to make sure that the cardinality between objects is the same in both systems, so we can understand how data is represented and data is owned. So I think, especially when it comes to things like billing and financial information or system information, having that cardinality needs to be there so it doesn't break integration and third-party systems. So this I can see is extremely useful when you're doing large integrations and when you're doing two-way integrations, knowing that people can't break that model is going to be a very big deal for being
Nice.
able to sync up data.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Scott. I thought I'd swum to the rescue, but no. That really does. I think that hits the nail on the head. Okay, so next, updated property creation and editing experience. I'll talk about this one briefly because it's simple enough for me to be able to comment on. This one is about, as it literally says on the tin, right? It's going to allow you to create properties and to edit properties through the user interface far more easily, and it's part of this whole development that have sort of been rolling out over the last few months to make the interface, so the bit that the salesperson uses, the bit the marketing person or the customer service person uses, more suitable for them, more customized to them. And this is just going to make use of the platform much more intuitive and much more straightforward. At the moment, if you're going to go into updating these properties, you're going to go into the back end, you're going to go into settings, you're going to find properties, you're going to find the property you want to edit, or you're going to create a new edit. This just makes the whole thing an awful lot faster, and as I say, is in line with HubSpot's requirement for the smart CRM going forward, just making things easier to do and look better as well. So that's
definitely. I mean, as partners, we are sometimes asked to create properties for people. If we're doing a whole build from scratch, then obviously that's part we do when we're sort of helping you structure the system from day one. But creating properties and adjusting your CRM, that should be something that super users in your company should be empowered to do. So I really like seeing stuff like this that's going to sort of put that power more into your hands as HubSpot customers, rather than being so reliant on us to do the simple things and the minor changes.
Yeah. No, I agree, and it's an interesting one, this, because they obviously feel this is very important, mission critical, because they've pushed it to everybody. Even though it's in beta, everybody already has it. You don't have to opt into it either.
Yeah.
Okay, AI generated deal summary in Workspace. So this relates to another beta at the moment, which is the Sales Workspace beta. That I've requested and don't have yet. James, Scott, have you guys got it in your portal yet?
I don't think we do. I'm actually seeing the update you're mentioning in the list here.
Yeah. Oh, the sales space update.
I don't have it in the list.
You're not seeing the update I'm looking at. Got you.
No.
So that might be because it's a prospecting sales. Yeah, it's a sales pro feature, which may be. So currently, the prospecting space, which is available in Sales Pro, which is as you'd expect, is somewhere that you can go to manage the prospecting of for your business. Very exciting for sales geeks like me. Is getting a revamp, getting an overhaul, and if you know HubSpot like we know HubSpot, it's probably going to be a whole thing in and of itself, and it'll be relaunched as the sales space rather than the prospecting space. Now within that, you're going to see, as the little tag shows here, you're going to see deals, and you're going to see AI generated summaries of the deals, which is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. You can see here again on the little demo an actual deal score. So that's going to help us understand whether or not this deal is more likely or less likely to close based on the criteria that you've set up and the score that HubSpot then adds to the deal, which obviously is doing through the AI. And you can see here at the bottom, it's actually a Sales Enterprise and Sales Pro feature. And the only way you're going to get that, I think, is if before you do that, you get the Sales Space beta. So a bit of a complicated one, that, but very exciting. I think we will probably look to do a piece on that in its entirety, because that's going to be big enough to take up a whole session.
Yeah, that's great. I remember we were talking about salespeople on our prospecting webinar the other day about how salespeople are going to go from the prospecting dashboard, living in there, and also living in the deal pipeline.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense to bring these together.
Exactly, and I think it'll also overcome some of the criticism that you get from Salesforce users who are using HubSpot. Salesforce handles leads differently, and I suspect this will take that whole thing on another step, so that it's folded back into to the full cycle sales process, rather than splitting it out for SDRs or BDRs or account execs and that kind of stuff. So pay attention to that one. That one's going to be, I think that's going to be quite exciting. Marketing SMS replies. Right, I'm reading this because I've not heard of this. So basically, we can view and reply to SMS messages as they appear, as they're replied to in HubSpot. I'm not going to go to town on this because that's it. If you are doing SMS campaigns via HubSpot, and you can do SMS, you can do WhatsApp campaigns as well if you want to. There's a native capability in HubSpot now to do that, or you might use one of the number of integrations, such as Sakari and things to do this stuff. But now this is obviously allowing you to navigate to your marketing SMS and the actions, connect your inbox, select your SMS inbox, and then view and reply to the SMS messages as you can to social media messages or live chat messages in HubSpot. So it's a nice bit of functionality that brings everything sort of back together, if you like, into the customer platform, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
CRM filtering in reports. James, Scott, have you done anything on this stuff?
Let me have a quick look at this one again, refresh my memory.
So, yeah, for me this is super interesting. Coming from a background of OLAP and data mining, being able to drill down into reports in a much more cleaner way. A lot of companies have been exporting their data to put into different tools to create those charts, and it's I think HubSpot's always fallen short on that data mining capability and data exploration capabilities. So this is definitely a good sign that this is going to be opening up that ability, especially when we talk about things like, as an example, you talk about sales personas and customer journeys, and sometimes that's all aggregated together. It means creating a lot of reports to split that up. But here, if you can drill down by your customer persona, your different customer journeys, then that's going to be a great leap forwards for quick response to see, what salespeople, what marketing activities is working with what customer or buyer journeys, I should say, being HubSpot. So, so I think that's going to be a real game changer for those heavy data-driven people and marketing companies.
It's a really interesting one, actually, because you're quite right. I mean, we've used Power BI. We've exported data from Power BI. We use Databox for deeper reports. To clarify, this is to enable you to make the filtering easier on the reports. It's changing the way that the reports work, how the filters work. But as Scott says, I think it's really important for HubSpot to up the reporting game generally. The ability to really get into the CRM. To be fair, it showed what it showed, and for most of the use cases, for most of its ICP, that's been fine. But as it goes up market, as it becomes a more powerful enterprise tool, then the reporting clearly is going to need a revamp, an overhaul, whatever you want to call it. And this is obviously steps on that path. Excellent, thanks, Scott. Currency sort property value for mobile deal management. Well, anything that brings deal management into mobile is a good idea. up until fairly recently, the mobile app has not been brilliant for salespeople. You can see your contacts, make phone calls, send emails, but the functionality within the mobile app is increasing all the time. Have you managed to look at this, guys, while I was talking? It's all hubs and tiers, so it's obviously something that's across the whole interface. But this allows, well, you can see what it is. It allows a user to sort the deal by currencies. So if you have multiple currencies within your deal pipeline, and I would have thought a lot of people would have multiple pipelines for different currencies. You'd have a dollar pipeline maybe, and a pound pipeline, and a whatever.
Yeah.
But this will allow you to sort the deals within your pipeline by the currency that's in the deal. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely be great for. We had so many scenarios before where we're working with companies who have salespeople in the field and like lacking sort of key functionality like this when they're out on the road going from sales conversation to sales conversation is definitely an issue. So it's great to see that they'll be able to use the mobile app a lot more now.
Yeah, and expect it to become, with a lot of pressure from mobile first companies in the CRM space, AI and mobile first companies. Expect to see HubSpot do a lot more in this space, I think. Billing for subscriptions. I'm pleased to see any update to subscriptions because it's been difficult to use. We use it for our Supered Sidekick subscription. If customers click the link and then pay their subscription via Stripe and so on, which is great. But it's had issues with things like adding VAT, adding tax to the subscriptions and so on. So you can see here, this is the automatic subscription management and recurring billing from the CRM. So you don't have to mess around in Stripe. You don't have to do anything outside. You're again able to do what you need to do directly in HubSpot, and that's that's showing us there. So if you want to go through it, you'll get more information, and you'll see it in Commerce Hub under the payments section.
I see there's another one in there for pausing subscriptions as well. So they really are doubling down on the features for Commerce Hub across the board. We've sort of launched this with a few different customers, particularly US-based customers of ours, who are obviously getting features a little bit ahead of our UK friends. But yeah, there have been roadblocks that we've hit along the way with things like this, these sort of edge cases, and it's just great to see that these are being resolved so quickly, so that we can really drive adoption for these ideas as quickly as possible.
Yeah, if it's going to be, and there's another use case you can see is developing in HubSpot, the whole e-commerce thing. Whether that be B2C or B2B e-commerce. Plenty of our B2B customers have an e-commerce play now, and therefore are going to need these things. And seeing them in HubSpot is obviously going to be really useful. This is another beta, actually, guys. You can see that you can join. Just click on the link. The new CTA analytics, export new CTA analytics. Whatever is that all about? You can now export analytics for CTAs created through the new editor. File formats are CVS, XLS, XLS. Exports include clicks, links, views, campaigns. Right. So this is touching on a little bit about what you were on about there, Scott. If you do need deeper dive or more granular data mining, you can actually take this stuff out of HubSpot, stick it into a spreadsheet, and do what you want to do with it. Is how I'm reading this. Are you guys seeing that any differently?
I kind of read it as more like people need to do management reports or board meeting reports. So this is just going to give a very quick channel report on how successful or non-successful these channels are, rather than going into the specific, general channel, but in that more detailed version, being able to chart it and graph it and illustrate. So yeah, I think it's getting into more the exploratory and presentation kind of where you're at.
Yeah, cool. James?
That's my feeling.
Yeah, no, similar views on that. I mean, the kind of marketing data, exporting that to build reports and summaries That has always been a little bit behind what it is with exporting like CRM data.
Yeah.
You've had so much flexibility of that, so much ability to build reports around it. But so it's good to see that that's being expanded, because this data is obviously very important for making decisions.
Great. Okay. Page 2, we're almost there. We're tracking well on time. Did I see a comment, Scott, on the LinkedIn? Were you monitoring LinkedIn, or was that something else I saw popping up?
Let's have a look.
I'm not seeing any questions come through. I should be able to see any questions if there are any there. I just wanted to check. Okay.
No questions. Yeah.
We're still speaking to the silent majority then, clearly. Okay. So next, date range support for dashboard reports on mobile. More functionality for mobile, and the ability to change the date range within the reports that you're looking at on your iOS and Android devices is really cool. Scott, you picked up a lot of these reporting questions. Do you want to comment on this one as well? Or James, this may be. Sorry,
James,
Scott, go on. Yeah, I was going to say, James, it may be more pertinent to some of the sales teams that we've worked with, again, in terms of needing to look at the reports through the mobile app.
Yeah, I mean, being able to look at these stats wherever you are, I mean, that's obviously really, really helpful. Just having that exposure to management teams maybe on the go as well. That's just a good change to see, and adding to the fact the mobile app is now really getting to be actually useful.
Let me just clarify that, because this is actually saying it's not available in the app. That's a bit cute, isn't it? So it does not support date range filtering on the dashboard level in the app, but this does support date range for dashboard reports
for individual reports
on mobile. So this is if you're looking at a report on mobile rather than looking at reports through the app, is how I'm reading that.
Yeah, exactly. So if you wanted to check your KPIs of your business on the go, then you could look at individual reports and do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excuse my squeaky chair. Sorry about that. Billings for subscriptions. I think have we not just covered that? I think we have. That seems to have stuck through. Data sync. Test your sync before activation. I can tell, and you boys are going to be excited about that.
Praise the Lord on that one. I don't know why they're calling this a low release impact, because so I mean, we've seen this before, because obviously data syncs are a really important part of your sort of integrated tech stack, and it's something that we do a heck of a lot on, especially with our projects with real inbound. Because if you're a B2B SaaS company, for instance, and you have your own SaaS product, you want to get behavioral data from that system into your CRM so that you can use that to drive your marketing and your sales and your upselling and customer success and so on. But other sort of key systems as well, like ERPs and LMSs, or accounting systems, you have to have that in sync to have a sort of a smooth journey from one system to another. But obviously those systems, if you're bringing in HubSpot fresh, they have a lot of legacy data in them. Their data structure of them is going to be very different from HubSpot, and you're not necessarily going to know what that's going to look like and how that's going to translate based on the plan that you've made. Some objects, like contacts, companies, deals, you can delete those very easily. But things like activities, that you can't do that in bulk yet. So the ability to actually do a dry run, which is essentially what this is, of what impact that data sync is going to have when it gets turned on, can save a lot of headaches if you need to undo it and redo it again. So really going to be helpful.
Yeah, I can see. I'd agree. It's low, which is a bit weird, because they've also pushed it to everybody again. This is one that while it's a beta, and I don't know what the difference between a public beta that everybody's taking part in and an update that's live. I guess it means it's going to have more development. It's going to, potentially might change before it's got the rubber stamp.
This one definitely won't change, because it's going live today for everybody, as it
says.
And thank you for that.
And specify the time zone of your date and time picker properties in an import.
Yeah, this is
look at his face. He loves this stuff.
Well, it just reminds me of old headaches, and seeing them solved and not having to have them again is just nice.
Brilliant.
especially with partners like us, we work with companies all over the world, and we're provided sets of data as part of you moving into HubSpot, or upgrading your HubSpot, and sometimes those can be inconsistent. They can be a bit of a pain to get those rationalized in a way where they'll go into the CRM the way we all want them to. This just solves one of those major things that you'll be second guessing a little bit. Like if you do have dates and times, you want to make sure that when they get into the CRM, they'll match the time zone that you're based in and your CRM is your HubSpot is set to. This just makes that so much easier.
Brilliant. Excellent. So one for the techies again, I think it's fair to say. You mentioned this already, actually, in the billing subscriptions, the ability to pause subscriptions is another functionality that you might expect to see. So it's good to see it coming through into HubSpot. If you're selling subscriptions, managing them through HubSpot, and for whatever reason it needs to be paused rather than cancelled or stopped and resumed, then we've got the ability to do that, which is cool. And this might be my sales strategy. AI powered gibberish. I love that. That's pretty much how my outreach works. But this is to spot spam in form submissions. Scott, you look like you burst into share a perspective on this.
Well, it's it's that whole writing 1,000 agents that comment on every single WordPress blog, fill in every single form. Like there's a lot of junk coming in to get the backlinks. Hoping that it'll show up somewhere. That's always and also negative campaigning. So trying to spam into different forms and comments to try to make a company look negative. I've seen that done in disastrous effects, but so I think this is it's about time. We've always had issues with spam with emails, and spam with forms is just as bad in for a lot of people. So this is a great tool, and the captures can be fooled, and with AI bots becoming more and more popular, we're going to see more and more of that in the next few years for sure.
Yeah, it's a shame actually. Looking down at the who gets it, we're looking at content subscribers, marketing pro, fair enough, but content pro and enterprise subscribers. So it does feel like the sort of thing you'd get in a WordPress site comments function. You sort of get automatically. So I'm sure it'll filter down. But this is also another request beta. So as I'm here, I'll just request that beta. Actually looks very exciting. We'll get in that. Okay. So what do you think, guys? What's the sort of overarching, overwhelming view of this week's updates? Anything particularly exciting? Anything especially good stand out?
You go ahead, Scott.
Sorry, James. Yeah, for me, I think it's picking up that reporting game and starting to move into the drilling into the data. This is obviously the RevOps role that companies either are adopting or has someone allocated to, but they're being handcuffed a little bit because they're needing to do so much work in terms of export and shaping the data to really get those deeper analytics from their conversion rates and their sales pipeline. So, I think this is just going to really speed up that process in the RevOps world to really kind of, where are we, the flywheel model, where are we actually being quite successful, and where are we failing in our sales pipeline. So it's just so much easier than putting it into another tool when you need to do exploration, right? If you're at that exploration level, you're looking from top of market, end of market, got the reports, okay, filter, change of views, where are we failing, where are we succeeding, to really make quick decisions to know where you can explore further or act on straight away. So I think that's really It's going to be a game changer for those that live in that RevOps data mining world.
Yeah, no, 100%. James?
I would probably add to that, like I mean, so I'm seeing quite a few features here, or a few changes here that are sort of going to help with optimizing the RevOps on the process side as well. There were a couple that we haven't gone over. It might be because you don't have them in your hubs, but I'm seeing them
Yeah,
here. Like
sounds like.
there's help desk SLA rules here, where you can set conditional rules for SLAs based on data on the tickets themselves, like what category they fall into, what priority they're assigned based on analysis of the actual ticket. There's also something here for workflow conversion reporting, where you can actually see in the branches of your workflow what percentage of people are falling down different paths. So those kind of tools, although they're small, they have a really good impact in terms
Yeah,
of the efficiency level of your processes, and how they sort of flow between teams. And that seems to be a recurring theme going through all of this with the Commerce Hub stuff as well.
yeah. Thanks for calling that out, because I don't know how that escaped the product updates. We'll have to have a look at that before next week's session, perhaps. But I would have picked up on the e-commerce commerce hub stuff. It is, they say B2B marketing is B2C marketing, because everybody who's buying in B2B is actually a customer, a consumer. So you are increasingly seeing these sorts of emotional plays, the sort of normal. Even LinkedIn is becoming a Facebook for business. Well, it's not even becoming; it is probably Facebook with a slight business flavor at the minute, which in itself is irritating. So it is good to see this functionality come through. So just thanks, gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Really interesting. I'm glad I called you on it, listening to what you had to say, because you did a far better job than I'd have done on my own. And hopefully see you both, or at least one of you, next week. We'll go through the next week's updates. But as I said, I'm sure HubSpot, I'm sure you guys will make the recording available through your channels.
Yep.
And if you're one of our Supered subscribers, you'll get this update pop into your Supered card by the end of the day. Any questions now, or if you're watching us in the future on playback, if you've made it through, then I'm sure any of us would be very happy to answer them. Thanks very much, and see you all next week.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Thanks. See you. Bye.